Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the top 5 best and worst games of 2020, no particular order. But first up, we have an honorable mention of meh for The Last of Us 2. Now, it was a rough slog through this game. Gameplay-wise, it's really great. Graphically, probably top pinnacle of PS4 technology. Very well done. Excellent soundtrack. But a plot that was ultimately quite horrible. Yes, Abby, they did leave room for a little bit of another game maybe after this one, but oh no, that will not be for me. Yeah, sadly, it was a little bit one of the more disappointing things besides the Murder Hornets of 2020. Looking back, it was average. It was a rough time, but overall, I did enjoy it. For what it was worth. And also we've got CYBERPUNK 2077, which deserves an asterisk, really. I know it's gonna win Game of the Year awards because we all know those are rigged. It's a beautiful game on PC. Like, I played 80 plus hours. I really enjoy it. Graphically, it is amazing on the PC. It is a buggy game. You cannot deny that, even on PC, on a high-end PC. But Xbox One, base console, PS4, a lot of issues. And what's worse is they knew about the issues and decided, hey, we like money. Even back in April, they were citing that it runs surprisingly good on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It does not. I even played it on the Xbox Series X, and it was, it's seen better days. But yeah, sadly, hopefully they do get a redemption. I'm sure people will forget because they always do. But Petra Farber members. And CYBERPUNK 2077, I think, is always going to deserve an asterisk in that title. A beautiful game. I do recommend it somewhere down the line. I wouldn't say for another 6-7 months, though. It is one of my favorite games of 2020, but yeah, you got yourself disqualified for being pretty scummy. What brings us one of our worst games of 2020, Empire of Sin. Now, Empire of Sin was insanely broken. Oh, it was so broken. You could take out rival gang leaders very easily. Yeah, they just didn't have the AI didn't actually build or anything or do anything. It was quite hilariously broken. Mechanics were very shallow. It didn't really even mean anything. Yeah, I easily conquered multiple neighborhoods, and I really didn't even do anything. I was very shallow in depth. They have now made things that they will actually fix this. They're gonna take feedback from the community. It's currently sitting about a 52% positive mixed reviews on Steam. Yeah, it's horrible game. It's a very shallow XCOM as well. I can't remember the name of the publisher, the developer, but the publisher is Paradox, so you know they'll flush that out with some. They're already selling DLCs, so we know how Paradox does. But it's a very pretty game, I give it that. But it just so horribly broken. I honestly think it's going to be years before they can fix it, and I'm not sure they really will. Yeah, this is one of the bigger disappointments of mine of 2020. And next up we have Maneater. Oh, Maneater, I don't know what to say about you. Other than you were so just... wasn't really that engaging. It just... Graphically, it was alright. I know their style they're going for, but it was basically just going around, you attack people. I know you're a shark, but... And there was actually a skill tree, but it was just... It was a lot of this for hours, and it just didn't really matter. It was, yeah, I just did not enjoy that one bit. Yeah, I didn't get very far through it. I just decided to better uses of my time. Yeah, very simple plot. Graphically it was okay, but yeah, that's the core gameplay was just not very enticing. And sadly, it's one of the more disappointing games also of 2020 once again. But moving on, we'll move up to something a little bit more disappointing. Marvel's The Avengers, possibly one of my biggest letdowns this year. I'd almost say it's the biggest debacle as Anthem. And I actually did play through their Kate Bishop free update, and it was horrible. So horrible, in fact, that they actually gave me credits to spend in their store as an apology for how many things this game got wrong. And I could not find, even the cosmetic store is so bland. It's a basic generic smash 'em up that's not that good, honestly. I did play through the main campaign, which was actually decent. It was decent, ran maybe about 20 hours if you did a lot of side stuff. But after that, you're just in the end game now, and I think I'd rather get Thanos snapped than do this one again. Yeah, it's got passes on your cards, which you can actually play through for each character for free, but there's always that option, because they make it grindy, that you can pay to, get ahead. A lot of cosmetics that are just not very good looking. Multiple delays. I know it is 2020, but yeah, this game has also already lost $63 million. Just let that sink in. $63 million. And they're still pumping money into it. It's player base on PC has dropped by 98%. I don't know on consoles, but not looking too good for I'm a big time, if you know me, Marvel fan, but I did get the collector's edition just for the statue. But yeah, it was a very, very disappointing game. Even the Kate Bishop, which was not the Hawkeye. Apparently Hawkeye is coming later. And plus, we also remember Spider-Man gonna be a PlayStation exclusive. And they're gonna have PlayStation exclusive content for that as well. And an already troubled game. Yeah, I don't think even Thanos with the Infinity Stones could save this one. Yeah, Kate Bishop's character played alright, but it was just nothing different from any other characters. Yeah, I'm cover this in an update to this as well. It just voice acting subpar. Yeah, I just really added nothing new to the game. Same missions, same robots as well. All in all, yeah, I even had the same boss at the end too. Very ending. But also, one of the big disappointment of 2020, the Red Lantern, which I about 100%ed in, I do believe, less than 5 hours. I think it was far less than that. Beautiful graphics. It's got doggos, and I want to love that. But basically, survival, resource management, not really. Very light story. You'll go through it quick. Very weird shooting mechanics as well. Very weird. Yeah, luckily it was Epic exclusive for them, because I don't think this would have made a lot of money. I think it was like $20. Luckily they got that Epic exclusive. I am pretty sure this is gonna bomb on Steam, but it was a very, very disappointing time. I really wanted to love it, but yeah, sadly, if you want a good survival game, go get The Long Dark. Always a favorite of mine. And speaking of survival games, we've got the final worst of 2020. Now Wilderness. I've covered this in a couple of videos recently. Comes out as a full game. Though it is currently still in development, I think it is an early access game. Probably a few things from the Unity Asset Store. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty positive on this one. And some of the reviews are questionable at best. Yep. You can play as a wolf, a bear, or a human, and they're all pretty horrible. Buttons will stop working. The howling, if you're a wolf, will not have sound. The map is very, very generic. Just like procedurally generated, just a whole lot of nothing. Nothing to it. And the human, the crafting is very basic, very horrible. Sticks and stones make everything somehow. And their own hunters will shoot you too. They treat you like an animal as well. The bear was, surprisingly, you could also play as a bear. The bear was very op though. Like, I could not die as the bear. Even though I wanted to die in the game, I really couldn't. This is, I play a lot of horrible games I check out that don't get to the channel. But this one has kind of stuck with me lately. Yeah, between the horrible controls and just, it didn't have the biggest price, maybe about $12, but, ooh, that was a $12 rather unspent. Yeah, that's just a very sad time. This game embodies everything that I felt like 2020 kind of was. A horrible, apocalyptic landscape. But with that, let's go to the good. The great games, in my opinion, of 2020. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh, Ichiban. Such a beautiful story. And Yakuza series kind of changed it up this time, and I was kind of very leery if this would go well. And don't worry, they have all the usual minigames and crazy quests and colorful characters as well. But it's a turn-based RPG, which actually works rather well. Different job classes as well. Lots of minigames, lots of different activities that you've grown to love in the Yakuza series. I do recommend the Japanese. The English dub is not very good in my opinion, but the Japanese voice acting is incredible. All the characters are amazing. Great. I had a great time with this one. I do believe there is replayability. It just... I'm glad more of these games are coming out to the West sooner rather than later. Yeah, it just seems like the market is finally opening, and I for one welcome our new Japanese overlords. It is a amazing game. Probably one of the better Yakuza games I have played in the series lately. Kiryu is always one of my favorite characters, but Ichiban's got heart. I have to give it to him. Yeah, I can pick this up on consoles and PC as well. I do not think you will be disappointed in it. I've done a little bit of live streaming and like an impressions video, but I didn't really want to ruin the story because at times it can be rather hopeful, inspiring, and it's very beautiful indeed. Yeah, definitely a good game. Highly recommend from me. And up next, surprisingly, I didn't think this one was going to make my list, but Animal Crossing actually was a huge hit. And I enjoyed it for a time, but then I kind of stayed away for a while. And it was, I didn't want to get that guilt trip coming back, because it's a very kind of big game that keeps you busy. And so some of the more hardcore game might argue, it's not a game. It is a game. And I think it was a really a bomb for a lot of people during the lockdowns, etc. the year of 2020. Kind of one of the reasons it made it onto the list as well, because it gave a lot of people something to do, kept them going, gave a lot of hope. It was a very hopeful game. Yeah, it was very good. A lot of resource management and other stuff. They do add canceling updates to the game. One of the few games I did play this year on the Nintendo Switch, and actually kind of one of the reasons Nintendo Switch was very hard to find this year because there were a lot of shortages. They just could not produce them enough. And though I think generally you will get quite a few hours of it, eventually you will hit that plateau where you can't do anything and you just have tons of money. Animal Crossing has kind of faded from the limelight a little bit. But overall, yeah, it was a pretty good time, I would say. And Tom Nook, that capitalist bastard. Oh, I do love him though, but man, he is ripping you off on that island. Yeah, though it's only on Nintendo Switch, if you do have it, I do give a recommendation, at least for the kids as well, to keep them busy. A very wholesome, a very good game. I think especially, but it is a bit of a time sink. You're gonna have to pay attention to it all the time for a while until eventually you'll get good at it, and then you just won't come back because you don't want a guilt trip. I don't need that from Tom Nook. I don't know. And also, really, we have another actually console exclusive. Hopefully, this is coming to PC though. Ghost of Tsushima. A beautiful, intricate game. It's got that Kurosawa mode, that black and white mode that I do love as well. It does have English dub, but I do recommend the Japanese dialogue. There's no equal on that one. Great game, stealth. Great combat. Does have a lethal mode. They also did give it a free multiplayer update. Yeah, no microtransactions in this one. It's an amazing game, beautiful game, very detailed world. I could not recommend this one enough. It was probably the best, going to be one of the best games of the PS4 generation. It was perfection. I could find no fault with this one. It is an amazing game. And coming up next, we will have one of the games I never thought would honestly make it to this list of my 5 top games of 2020. But actually, this is a game you can play on anything. It Ghost of Tsushima, though, definitely recommend Kurosawa Lethal Mode if you do play it. But coming up now, we have a game. You can play this on anything. You can play this on PC, your phone, your tablet. You might be able to play it on a toaster pretty soon. It's on Xbox Game Pass as well. But Among Us came out of nowhere. It's been played over by a billion people. It is insanely huge. We even are playing it on my Twitch streams on Sunday because just audience demand. It's a game about deception, lying, and you will hate the people you play with by the end of this, I guarantee. Yeah, they only have 3 maps. They have another map coming out next year. About 4 devs. If you saw them on the Game Awards, I think they did get Best Mobile Game. Yeah, it is also free to play. I think it'll release on mobile. On Steam, it's about $4. Do highly recommend you pick it up. Always a lot of people to play with. I wouldn't recommend randoms, though. I would recommend a lobby of your friends or soon-to-be ex-friends because they are going to hate you. Yeah, it's definitely a great time. I highly recommend it. Graphically, it's alright. I think the developers, they actually were going to make a second one, but they actually decided to keep working into this one because, yeah, this was actually out in early access for years, but they did actually, yeah, a couple streamers started playing it. Bigger streamers got popular, took off. Kind of amazing comeback victory in 2020. But I think you will definitely recommend after you play this to all your friends so you can betray and murder them. And lastly, this has kind of been a weird because I did kind of keep it down to only about 5 this year. We've got another console exclusive. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which sadly only got a few Game Awards this year. I think well, we know they're rigged, so it's a little bit overlooked. But Final Fantasy VII, only part, because this probably is going to be about how many games. I would figure it's going to take at least them get 6 games to get this completely done. But it's an amazing game. Graphically, amazing. Combat, amazing. Voice acting, cinematics. I can definitely find no fault with this one, other than my crappy combat skills. But it's an amazing game. Perfection itself. Yeah, so actually, amazing enough, PlayStation did have some amazing hits this year as well. Any other kind of honorable mentions? I really can't think. There's a lot of games this year, but not a lot that stood out entirely. Like, I would have liked to get CYBERPUNK in there. I was hoping it was going to be the chosen one, but yeah, they kind of dropped that ball, which I did not see coming. But alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was my top 5 best and worst. Not really in a particular order, just the most memorable to me. So let me know in the comments some of your best or worst games for you in 2020. Hope you guys enjoyed. Happy New Year's as well. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Hope you always have a great rest of your year, and let's hope 2021 is a little better. Looking forward to helping you out, keep you entertained next year. Thank you very much, and goodbye.